All right. How's everybody doing out there on YouTube? I'm Shafe. This is Schaefer TV. We got a great little video for you today. Um, something interesting happened in the last day or so. A 2024-2025 Premier League predictions came out from a company called Opta. They have a supercomputer apparently called the Opta supercomputer, and it basically made some projections. It ran it through its algorithm how the season's going to go, and it made some projections. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to critique some of those projections, because as much as I do believe in math and as much as I believe in science and all these things, I do believe that there's a human factor into everything. So we're just going to get into that. But before we do, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the channel. Let me know what you think about me, what you think about the video. And with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, guys. So you can see here, this is Opta Analyst. You can see Pep. You can see Arteta. You can see Slot. Don't know what Slot's doing there. Whatever. We're going to move on. Premier League predictions, 24-25 season. The Opta projections. Who will win the Premier League title in 24-25? Which clubs will qualify for the Champions League? And who will be scraping for survival? We look at all the key questions with our Premier League predictions for the upcoming season via our trusty Opta supercomputer. All right, let's get into it real quick. We're not going to go over all of this, but we are going to go over the main portions here. And this is one of the main portions. It says the quick hits, title favorites, Manchester City. Well, all right then. Top 4 favorites, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, alongside Chelsea or Newcastle. Relegation favorites, Southampton, Leicester City, and Ipswich Town. And then go on to say, we tasked the computer, the AI-powered Opta supercomputer, with simulating the Premier League season 10,000 times to see how it believed the campaign may pan out. Across those results, 8 different teams won the Premier League at least once. Okay, so it's just going to go into more detail about the certain simulation. Here we go. So without further ado, we run through the key results of the current Opta supercomputer Premier League 24-25 simulation. So here we go. Predicted final league positions. So right here it's percentage probabilities of finishing in each position are shown. All right. City have an 82.2% probability of winning the league, followed by Arsenal at 12, followed by Liverpool at 5. Arsenal have a 49% basically probability of coming in second, and Liverpool have a 30%, whereas Arsenal have a 27% to come in third, and Liverpool have a 40%. So Chelsea is slotted in there at 4th. Looks like they're fighting pretty hard here against Newcastle for 4th. Newcastle is slotted at 5th. United 6th. Spurs 7th. Villa 8th. Crystal Palace 9th. And West Ham United 10th. So here's where I take a little bit issue with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you here. This is the Premier League table from last season. I think we can see that City won by 2 points. Arsenal in second with 89. Liverpool with 82. Villa with 68. Spurs in 5th. Chelsea in 6th. Newcastle in 7th. United in 8th. West Ham in 9th. And Crystal Palace in 10th. So let's go from bottom to top. So when we look at Crystal Palace, and they're projected to, on the supercomputer, I believe they're projected in 9th. When we look at Crystal Palace, and you have to just ask yourself a basic, simple question. Did Crystal Palace get better, or did they not get better this off-season, this summer transfer window? And the answer is no, they did not get better. They lost their best player on the team. They lost their main man, Michael Olise. The supercomputer has them projected at 9th, I think because they hold Glasner in such high regard, as well do I. With that being said, I think that the best hope for them is somewhere between that 10 and 12 position. I believe that's where they're going to end up being. Next, we go to West Ham United. Now, West Ham United are a different story altogether. West Ham United have arguably the best summer transfer window of all the Premier League teams. They brought in Max Kilman, they brought in Somerville, they brought in Nicholas Fulkrug, they brought in Guido Rodriguez, and they brought in Jean-Claude Todibo. They brought in 2 center backs, a winger, a striker, and a very solid defensive midfielder. And they only lost 1 player that could really claim that they had any playing time, which is Said Ben Rama. So I think that West Ham, who did come in ninth last season, I think they have a very, very reasonable chance at making that top six, breaking that top six. After all, they did bring in Killman, who is a very solid center back. They brought in Guido Rodriguez, who is a very solid defensive midfielder. And they brought in Nicholas Füllkrug, who somehow, some way, just finds ways of scoring goals. United came in 8th last season. I believe the Supercomputer has them projected in 6th. I think it's more reasonable to think that they're going to come in 8th or 9th once again. And the reason being is because United, even though they did bring in Lenny Euro and Joshua Zirkzee, I do not think they've made very many improvements. I don't think their style of play is I don't think it's very sexy. I don't think they're a very good team. I don't think they're well coached. And I think they're going to be very lucky to be competing for top 6. I think that 8th is probably where they're going to slot in again, if not 9th. Newcastle, kind of in the same position. With that being said, they do have some injuries coming back. Newcastle are a better squad, in my opinion, a better coach squad than United. Newcastle have a very, very, the mindset is very gritty. They're going out there to win the game. They're going to try the best they can, and I don't really see that too much from a lot of other squads, including United. I think Newcastle probably will slot in this 6th or 7th once again. Moving on to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea's an interesting squad because Chelsea did bring in at least 3 quality players in Pedro Neto, Dewsbury Hall, and Tosin Adarabo. So I do think that they made some improvements. They did lose Lewis Hall and they did lose Thiago Silva. With that being said, I do think they made some big improvements. I do think Chelsea are set for a good year. I do believe I have them slotting into the top 4. Tottenham Hotspurs as well. They have made some improvements, but not as much as other teams. I do think they've made some tiny improvements, especially for the future, bringing in Archie Gray and Lucas Badivel. Dominic Solanke will do a good job scoring goals for this team. I do believe they have a good team. I just don't think that they have a good enough team to come in 5th again. We will see. I think they're probably going to end up around 6th or 7th. We move on to Aston Villa. Aston Villa lost Moussa Diaby and Luis Douglas, which is 2 big losses. However, they did bring Amadou Onana, Ian Matson, Ross Barkley, and Den Docker. So I think they more than made up for the losses. They were in 4th last year. Not entirely comfortable, but they were in 4th. I do think that they're just going to get better. I do think Unai Emery is doing a great job with that team, and I expect them to be in this top 4 again. Liverpool have made no changes, just to the coach, basically. I do believe they're going to be a top 4 team. I just don't think that they're going to slot in 3rd as easy as this Supercomputer makes it sound. Arsenal have arguably gotten better, bringing in Calafiori and Tierney, shoring up the defense even more, even after they had the best defensive team in the league last season. And Manchester City have not done a darn thing, and they probably do have a chance of winning the league this year, but I don't think it's an 82% probability as this supercomputer is implying. I believe that the top 4 is going to round out to be Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool, and City, but I don't think it's going to be in this order here. I think it's going to be a little bit different. So with all of that being said, I do think that it's nice to have these types of systems where we can look into a supercomputer and we can see what the projections are over 10,000 different seasons. But here's the reality. The reality is there's just one season coming up. And in the season coming up, I do believe that City probably have the best chance, but I do think that Arsenal have caught them now. And I don't like Arsenal either, but I do believe they've caught them now. I think Aston Villa are set in stone a top 4 team. I think that Chelsea have made great strides, and I think that they're getting a lot better as well. I think that if they continue to let their players like Nkunku and Palmer flourish, I think that they're going to be one heck of a team in the future. So, and then squads like United and squads like Newcastle and the Spurs, they seem to just kind of be stuck. Not really going anywhere, seem like they're okay with what they got. So I don't think this projection from the supercomputer is going to pan out. I wouldn't place any money on it if I was you. And I would listen to me because I'm usually right about almost everything. Just kidding, not really. But anyways, I appreciate you guys clicking on the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Again, like and subscribe. This is Shafe with Shafer TV. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next video.